At what times did you feel like you really moved the needle in your understanding or like your clarity of what you kind of had to do to show results or make good YouTube videos or learn more about what makes a good YouTube video? I think a lot of people we've seen are interested in doing work similar to what you're doing. And is there anything advice that you have to them that might help their process of being able to do that kind of work?
It's very difficult. I mean, there's hundreds of moving parts that you have to understand all the fundamentals and the basics first, which is why Moses, if you're watching this, where you have to understand every single piece. You have to understand editing. You have to understand the fundamentals of what makes a good video and why. And therefore, you have to study traditional TV. You have to understand why, like, what is good editing. It's not just cutting. So you have to understand every single piece to a very high degree, but not be able to do it, but then be able to train someone to do it. Because right now we're making videos for guys who run some of the largest businesses in the world. And so you have to understand their objective. It is to spend as little time on this as humanly possible while getting the best results. And no one ever shows results. That's the problem. None of these guys ever show results. So how do you? You have to understand the human psychology of like what gets someone to want to click on a video and what gets the psychology for them to want to watch a video, because everything is done for a reason. If you watch a video of people who are getting 10 million views per video, every single cut is for a reason. Every single thing that they're doing has a purpose. It is all pre-planned out and it's thought about. And if you can't understand what that is, then there's no way you could replicate it and get those types of results. It would be feasibly impossible. And so when we're here, we're taking up as little of their time as possible, and we are directing and thinking and piecing together absolutely everything to make some of the best videos for them that are going to get them the most amount of clients. And they're willing to pay anything for that if we can accomplish what we're set out to. And so it's different if you're making a video for yourself, because you can plan that stuff out for yourself. But taking up the time of the biggest business owners is unacceptable. So you want to give them as little time as possible while showing them the best results. That is how you create something that can't be done from anyone else. And that's the real value. With Ken, if you go from spending 10 hours a week on something to 2, and your results 100,000 go up by 100,000%, how much are you willing to pay to keep that person around? It's probably anything.
Yeah.
And so both thinking, then I have to understand everyone's business model. So I have to understand the business model and their business to a very high degree for every single person. I am going to have to understand cancer to a very high degree so I can basically direct them and understand it. And so it's learning a ton. It's being more of a generalist and not super specialized, but the specialization comes from kind of like all understanding YouTube and film and then knowing how to direct people. But I have to understand every single client's business to a very high degree. I guarantee you in a few months, I will understand the science of stem cells and cancer to a ridiculously high degree, at least because that's how I can provide value for them. Yeah. Same thing with real estate. Same thing with the marketing company that we're going to be working with, and then every other piece of the puzzle. So I think you have to be incredibly curious and actually want to understand what they're talking about. So when I'm interviewing Scott, who is right here, I mean, I'm hyper intensively focused on what he's talking about to where I can actually understand it. And that really has the rate of growth for both knowledge on a multitude of subjects, but also how to make the best videos. It takes really to the next level. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time, which is why there's so much outsized returns as well.
And so one thing that we would do is, or you showed me and you do all the time, is scroll through YouTube, find videos, find things that are outperforming, and you look at the thumbnail, the title, watch the video itself, and re-engineer what it's doing. Would you say that practice itself is one of the things that really helped you learn? Is there a certain experience working with a particular client that helped you learn? there other things that you did? Is there, what do you think helped you a lot?
That understanding, like, I would write down, let's say you watch a Mr. Beast video, I would write down every single cut. So in the first 30 seconds of a Mr. Beast video, I would write down every single cut that they do. So, and cut is a new scene from editing. So in the first 30 seconds, there's probably going to be 35 cuts. So I would actually write down, like, how does this impact the video? Why does it make it better? Because every single cut is for a reason. So you have to understand that to be able to replicate it, but also just understand the psychology, because I'm not just going to study a Mr. Beast video, but a Minecraft video, and then a video in the most odd niches in the entire world. If someone is getting a few million views per video, they understand what they're doing. And so it's not by accident. Everything that they're doing is on purpose. So why are they doing that? And then almost more importantly, someone who looks like they're doing everything right, why don't they get views? That's a much harder question to answer, because it's easy to say, oh, this person's great because of X, Y, and Z, because they have the results. But someone who doesn't have the results, that looks like they're trying to do everything right. Yeah. If you can understand why someone who is not getting results, but looks like they're trying everything that the top people do, then there's a lot of improvement that can be made. But understanding that is way more difficult than understanding why someone who is great, because you can just say, oh, of course it's because of these things. But find a channel who's doing all those things and not getting results. That's the human psychology aspect of it, which is my main specialty. And then I'm trying to look for kind of a team to help every other aspect of it.
You definitely hear all the time, or you hear from Mr. Beast, just focus on making your next video and your next video and your next video better. Just make your next video better, and then eventually you'll have great YouTube videos. Is there a few practices or some things you do every single time after you make a video? You see how it performs and you go and you check a certain statistic or anything you do to just kind of give you an idea of how you could have made the video better, or how the video was maybe not so good, or practices maybe that
I work with so many people that I don't do it for every video for everyone. A lot of it's just gut feeling, but then you have to ask yourself, what is gut feeling? Because that is just your body responding to past behaviors that you've experienced. And so when you experience drives that gut feeling, and it makes it a lot better. And so there is some sort of scientific process that I have that I do, but I do it naturally and subconsciously, so I don't actually know. I would be lying if I gave you some sort of format, but to train people, you have to figure out those formats. So I will figure that out by just reverse engineering what I do. But people who actually are running a business, they don't just try and sell something online to make extra money. Well, maybe some people do, but the people who are actually doing it, they don't teach it. And so my problem is there's not really anyone on YouTube who's teaching stuff that is super practical, that they're doing it to kind of make money on the back end. And eventually you watch every single person who teaches other people how to make great videos, and you realize that almost all of them are wrong. Because when you actually do it, you realize that there's so many other things that go into it. You just kind of have to figure it out from there. But it's just doing what you gotta do. So every time I drink coffee after every meal, I eat some toothpaste, I swish it around like mouthwash, and I swallow it. And then I always, every single time without fail, I offer PJ some, because I'm not a dickhead. But he accepted this stuff. And he was about to do it until he saw the camera, and then he decided, what the fuck am I doing? Take a hit. Take a hit.
I guess the fluoride can affect me when I have 4 shots of espresso running through my brain.
Yep, we're gonna get another 2 pretty soon too.
I want to know if anyone else does this or if it's just Josh.
Well, it's now PJ. Oh, you did that hella gay. I've never once done that is damn near the gayest thing I've ever seen.
Who does this? Dude, I mean, so now, I will say Josh has some white ass teeth though.
Now drink drink some water and swirl it around like mouthwash. You're eating this super gaily. Come on.